nominated and voted by their peers to be the top 100 doctors, which means that they are great in contribution to the community, right? They're involved in great projects, and I'm sure they're better dentists than me. So I'm going to leave the stage to each of the doctors. They're going to share a little bit of their personal story, why they're involved in this project, why they're so passionate to make an impact in the industry.
Thank you, Dr. Latran. By the way, driving for 35 hours, you get to make a lot of phone calls. So everyone I know, their phone has been blown up over the last few days. Some people make life decisions in the restroom reading a magazine. I do it on the road. I drive very frequently and actually enjoy the time. But where we have come from 3 years ago, where we launched the doctor-to-doctor movement, there comes a time when there is so much turmoil in an industry or in a country where some people get together and find solutions. And for the last 40 years, thousands and thousands of years of medicine and healthcare have been very, very badly infiltrated by organizations that don't have any fraternity to the patient-doctor relationship. So at some point, few of us got together, we recognized our colleagues from more than 70 countries in our first class that we had. Today we have constituents in more than 90 countries. Doctor-to-doctor movement is ever growing. And the idea is to create lean systems. This book that is our second edition that we're putting out, this time was actually Emily's idea to focus more on success strategies in business, because this is what doctors need to be able to have more of a business acumen, to not be taken advantage of by corporate interests because they didn't learn business in professional schools. So we went and got some of the successful business people around the world that are not only doctors and family members and specialists, but people that have really prevailed in business to pass on that knowledge to our colleagues in a lean system. Kind of like Bitcoin and the financial system, you have blockchain that you use in Bitcoin, cuts out all the third parties. This is what doctor-to-doctor is about. We want to learn from them, we don't want to work for them. We want to work for the patients. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So one thing led to another, and here we are today, and we're launching one of 27 different doctor-to-doctor projects, one of which is the Universal School of Health, and helping increase the business acumen of our colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, my name is Julio Reynafarge. I'm from Lima, Peru. I flew all night to be here today. I'm very happy to be here because I'm sorry about my English, it's not my native language, so
that's okay, we can understand.
It's okay. What I like about this book, is to talk to other doctors and to our patients. Sometimes when we do some entrepreneurship and some work, we usually forget who are we working for, and we're working for our patients. But our patients is gonna be, they are gonna be more, we are gonna take care of these patients if we work together. We don't work alone, we work in a group. But every doctor, we have to take care of each one of us, because sometimes when we finish the school, you know how to treat a patient, but you don't know how to set up a business. And the problem that you're having, and many people are taking advantage of that. So what we want with the Universal School of Health is to grow people from the beginning, knowing what they're going to do when they finish their careers. Doing of them better doctors, we're going to have a better and a stronger profession for every specialty in healthcare. So that is what we're looking for. And this is part of the movement. D2D is all together doing everything for the doctors, for the patients. You know, I always remember when I talk about this kind of books, maybe I try it over here. great leaders, they don't look from a mountain. They go into the battlefield. And we, as teachers, we need to talk to each one of our students and show them how to do it, where we make wrong things, or how we can get a solution for those problems. And we have to integrate everything. When you are working, you have to integrate every single piece of this Lego. When you're working with a Lego, you make different pieces and you get a tower. That's the idea, and that's what we're gonna do with all the pupils, all the students that we're gonna have in the Universal School of Health. Thank you very much.
You know, one of the things I realized was when I took my grandparents to the doctor. I remember that vulnerability. I felt how vulnerable the patient can be standing on the other side. You know, as her doctors were explaining to me what's going on, I just felt like, oh my God, I have to trust this person to do the right thing for my grandparents, or to make the right decision. And there was this deep sense of vulnerability that I felt, and I realized how important it is that oath that we took to be selfless, put our patients first. And I realized that that's the same trust that patients, instill in us. And we also have a business to run, right? So that dichotomy, making sure we're doing the right thing for the patients, and at the same time making sure we live a viable, life and have a viable career, was something that really I was very conscientious of. And as Dr. Shah was mentioning, we do have lots of corporate interests in our profession, and I, being able to work with other doctors to make sure we put our patients first, but at the same time, also live a long, healthy life, make good decisions, keep our practices going, was only achievable by doctors working with one another and sharing their experiences, and giving each other good advice, and making sure we not only take care of our patients, but we take care of our profession as well, making sure those has a collaborative opportunities, so that we do have longevity. If not, we wouldn't really be able to improve. We would just focus on financial interest. So this was a great opportunity, coming together with some of the leaders around the world, talking about their experiences and sharing their visions, and what a huge honor it was to be a part of it, and I appreciate the invitation, and hopefully there'll be many more, and hopefully this movement, this peer-to-peer movement, doctor-to-doctor movement, will continue to expand and be ultimately in the best interest of our patients, and make sure that our future generations have the same experience that our parents had, the leaders of the community, and having that first do no harm, backbone as the guiding principle of the profession. Thank you.
So I guess we can agree that we all participate in this because we all have the same common goal, is to really care for our patient the best that they should be cared for. And that's really my goal when I treat my patient. Is I tell them my job is to go get the knowledge and then transfer that knowledge to you, so that way you make a well-informed decision. And because that's how I would like to be treated. And with the way things are going, if we don't stand together, that gets threatened, because the patients don't really actually get the care that they should receive. And in order to go far, we need to go together and, support each other and protect each other. And I think, from me being a woman, a mom, a business owner, and we have our own struggles, right? How do we do it all? I homeschool my 3 kids. I have my practice full time, and I cook for them every day. We can't do that. I don't look to conquer the world, but I look to conquer my family and the relationship that I have. And I'm very happy what I have, and I'm very happy to support other women and other colleagues to do so. So, yeah.
Great. Is there any question for the panel? Anybody have a question? No question. Yes.
How long did it take you to collaborate on this book from beginning to end? Why do you laugh?
I gave him a deadline. So what I did is I said, this is how long the chapter is going to be. This is the deadline. Of course, the deadline is about 3 weeks before the real deadline. And I said, it has to be done by this day, so it can be printed, so it can be shipped here. And these books arrived here on Wednesday.
Wow.
Yes.
This is a press release then.
Yes, but we already put out a press release. And the thing is, you know, just like anything, if you put your mind to it and you have a goal, because I said, this event is happening, why don't we just take the event and talk about Universal School of Health, talk about the Doctorate of Healthcare program, and share the book, which is written by pretty much the faculty of that, you know, of the school, and sharing the doctor-to-doctor vision, which is all about collaboration. So the key to finishing things is to get a deadline, right? Any other question?
How did y'all, I mean, since you're all in different parts of the world, how did you guys find each other?
There's a thing called Facebook.
There's a little bit more to There's a little bit more to that. All of the authors that you guys see have done something of great magnitude in the healthcare industry, be it innovation, be it entrepreneurship. So first came the top 100 doctors, which the idea there was that we get people that are very heavily involved in the supply chain to help us achieve our mission and vision, that are doctors, that understand the concept. One thing, and then from there we developed a committee to write the first book, and then the second book. But they're all top 100 doctors, heavily involved in industry and understand it, and they've been in it. I hope that answered the question.
Did that answer the question? Yeah. Any other question?
So I want to again recognize Dr. Shah for having the vision. And when you have a great vision, and then you have people supporting you, which is like, these are just a few of us who are supporting him, it comes to being fruitful. So we're actually doing webinars, we call them partners, every weekend, giving continuing education to doctors in the healthcare business. It could be dentists, doctors, optometrists, different parts of healthcare, because that's how we come together to learn. And one advice from each of you to our audience here and our audience virtual audience. You go first, Dr. Hunt.
You know, I guess this is something from my mom, is she said, just stay calm, because when you lose control, you lose your wisdom, and it's really true, especially during this COVID time. And yeah, that's what really helped me.
That was good. Yeah, that was good.
I'll give you what my father said coming out of dental school. He said, let me tell you the definition of heaven and hell. It's not after you die, it's at the end stages of your career when the money doesn't matter anymore and how you achieved your success. You can lie, cheat, convince people to do things they don't need, do unnecessary treatment on people, and everyone will believe you. But when you get to a point where it doesn't matter anymore, you won't be able to lie to yourself, and you'll live in that self-inflicted hell for the rest of your life. So don't do anything you're going to regret later in your own conscience.
Well, for me, it's education. Basically, education, integration. How do we do things right? And how we can share it with every one of our students our colleagues. That is the main idea.
Lovely. So this is going to be outside of healthcare, just general advice. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, every time I came up with ideas and I would bring it to people or organizations, I would hear no. And then it would be always no, and it would be always no. And the third and fourth time, somebody might just give in and say, oh, well, this guy or this company knows what they're talking about, maybe I'm wrong. But that's not true. Persistent is the only one element, in addition to the word action, which is actually the most important component, to achieving what you want in life. Persistence. Now the same people that used to say no, they all say yes. 10, 20 years later. But first come the no's before all the yeses come. Keep staying persistent and do what you believe in, I'd say.
Isn't that great? You get these advice from these doctors, and nothing has to do with clinical. It's everything is about life, right? Because ultimately, it's about life. So we approach things from being a human, being alive, being nice to each other. Then we're all going to achieve success. For me, it's just like I mentioned earlier in my lecture. It's going to be about having that clarity and setting your intention. And when you put it out there, what your intention is, you're changing the world, you want to help people, all of a sudden you have people coming into your life and helping you achieve that goal. So please give the panel a round of applause.